Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about Avatar: The Last Airbender Season 2 episode The Blind Bandit. So this is probably the 7th episode, I believe, in the season. And this is one of my all-time favorite. I love season two. Season two was just amazing all around. I love when they was in the Earth Kingdom. I mean, sure, they was in the Earth Kingdom in the first season, but it was more like the poor area. But this is like more the rich area, and where you have like way more Earthbenders, because when the part they was in the first season, they weren't allowed to like bend, and they had to hide who they were because of the Fire Nation. And so after defeating the Fire Nation army with the help of like the moon god and stuff and those fish god thingies, um now the Avatar is in the Earth Kingdom looking for a earthbending master. He was gonna get Boomy, but Boomy got captured. And Boomy told him he must find a person who listens to the earth and strike at the right moment and stuff. And so he is looking for this person he saw in a vision, a little girl who's just like laughing, and he's never met this little girl. This introduces Toph Bei Fong, and she's one of my all-time favorite characters, and she's voiced by Jessica Flowers, and that's not her real name, but she goes by it. I forget what her real name is. And so normally I hate when a show introduces a brand new character for like the main like roster, because a new cast member can either make or break a show, and Toph helped make it better. It was cool having now like a group of four. And it was cool to see somebody earthbend, because, we're getting all the elements sooner or later. And of course, Sokka can't do nothing but just like, fight like a warrior and stuff. But it was cool having the earthbender there and seeing all the different ways they earthbend. And one thing that's always bugged me about this show, when people earthbend, very like it almost always you never see no rupture or debris in like the ground in which they get the earth from. It normally is just like smooth. I'm just like, how does it reconstitute itself so like nicely and everything? And so unlike the live action movie, which was just a disaster, nobody's dancing as they're bending. They're just straight up bending. And so as they're in town and they're looking for somebody to like help them teach, they see like this person gives them a flyer to this one guy's like teaching school. And so they go there, and Aang's not learning nothing from this guy. And this guy just wants money. And so after a couple of bullies teases like the group and stuff, Qatar, well, the first day over here that there's an earthbending like tournament that's like very hush hush. It's kind of like underground type stuff. So they don't know where it is, but the two bullies know where it is. So Katara makes them tell in a very interesting kind of way. Oh, that Katara. So while they're there at the earthbending tournament, you see all the earthbending warriors. It's kind of like a wrestling type tournament and stuff. And you get tons of earthbenders looking differently and earthbending completely differently. And then there's one earthbender who's part of the Fire Nation. So basically, the Fire Nation takes over a lot of earth-like territory. And he's one of those people who's been like, radicalized into the Fire Nation. And so he supports the Fire Nation even though he's an earthbender. It took a good while to figure out if he was a firebender or earthbender, because we never really see him earthbend in this episode, only briefly towards the end, because he gets taken out very quickly. And he's getting taken out by this new guy named The Boulder. And The Boulder is a parody of The Rock from WWE wrestling. He talks like The Rock. He has a huge ego like The Rock. He thinks he's the best. And ironically, he is voiced not by The Rock, but by Mick Foley, Mankind, Cactus Jack, Dude Love. And so he's doing his best Rock impersonation, and it's pretty hilarious. And Mick Foley's actually really good at voice acting. And so the Boulder's taking everybody out left and right. And now it's time for the champ. The person who holds the like championship belt and everything. And that person is the Blind Bandit. And it's a teeny tiny little girl. And she's blind, which is shocking to our group. And Aang looks at her and he's all like, that laugh. Because she starts laughing. He's like, that laugh. I've heard that laugh. It's in my vision. And it's her. It's the girl Aang is supposed to find. And so we see her take out the pebble in a very unique kind of way that we've never seen nobody bend before. It's kind of like Daredevil type stuff. Like, remember the first Daredevil movie? Well, the only Daredevil movie. And he has like these sonic waves going around, kind of like echolocation. She used that, but in a different kind of way. It's visually stunning. Like, everything goes black. She touches part of like the ground. The vibrations are like these white like waves that like touches everything around her, and that's how she's able to bend. And so she causes the boulder just to slip. As soon as the boulder's about to move his foot, like, she can anticipate it because she's listening to the ground, and but she's listening to the vibrations everywhere. And then so she's able to make him slip when he puts his foot down on the ground, and then he's defeated like that. And the group doesn't know how she did that, but Aang's all like, she listened and she waited. And so it's a very unique way they did that. And that what made it visually stunning in this show. Because the show's already visually stunning when the bending, but this made it extra special. And so Aang goes there to talk to her, and she doesn't want to talk to him. She's a rude little girl. She's like a tomboy. Which, by the way, what happened to tomboys? Are they like extinct? Because back in the day, if a girl acted boyish, they would call her a tom girl. Now it's something completely different. Now many people just call themselves like non-binary, or they call themselves transgender, even though they didn't like actually have the surgery. So what happened to tomboys and stuff, I wonder? I remember I used to know this one back in school, and I don't know what happened to her, because I haven't seen her since like school, and you don't hear the phrase no more. It's almost like it's extinct. Anyway, so she's making fun of him, and so he challenges to fight her, and because he wants her to teach him, but she doesn't want to do that. So she's trying to hit him with as many rocks as she can, and he's just using his airbending techniques to avoid her. And so she doesn't understand what the world's going on, because she can only see something that touches the ground. Since he's in the air, like jumping and floating around, she can't feel him until he lands. And so then she sends a huge boulder to smash him, because she's getting frustrated now. And he uses airbending powers to push the boulder out his way. And he pushes the boulder in one direction, but his wind gust hits her and knocks her on the ground. And by this time, the dude in charge of like the tournament, he's all like, he'll give out gold pieces, 100 gold pieces to, whoever knocks her down. And since Aang knocked her down, he won. He won the belt. He won the money. Now, everybody in the audience is kind of just like, what the world just happened? Because she went down, but you didn't see nothing hit her. And so, but it doesn't matter. So he wants her to teach her, but she's pissed and she leaves. So he has no idea where to find her. So he finds the bullies again. And he wants to know where they can find her, and they don't know where she lives at because she's mysterious. And she just appears and disappears. Nobody never sees her in town. So he tells them in his vision he saw like a flying boar. And they said, well, there's no flying boars around here, but that's the symbol of the Beifong family. So he goes there, and then as soon as they infiltrate her palace, because they're the richest people in all of the Earth Kingdom, as soon as they infiltrate like the palace, she can detect him, and like, she makes it to where she trips them all up. And they all fall like on bushes except for poor Sokka. And so he tells her about his vision and all this, and she thinks he's crazy. So she just starts calling the guards. And we hear the guards say, Toph, we know you know your father doesn't want you wandering around because you're blind. So this is the first indication of what's going on with her family. And then so the avatars are like, he ain't gonna stop. So he goes to her place for dinner, and they're talking, and he said he needs an airbending teacher, and they want him to get the person that teaches Toph. But the person who teaches Toph is the same person who tried to teach Aang in the beginning, who just wants money. And he's just teaching Toph the basic, just how to do shapes and forms. But they don't know she is a earthbending master, and because she keeps that hidden. And so it turns out her family sees her as helpless, especially the father. Because she's blind, he thinks she can't do nothing. So he wants her followed 24/7. He wants her taken care of like a baby, and she hates that. And because they don't know she's a master at earthbending, they don't realize how she was taught and everything, because she learned through badger moles and everything, because she was little, got lost, and started crawling around and couldn't see. And the badger mold she was playing with taught her how to earthbend. And that's how now she sits, she waits, and she listens to everything around her. And she explains to Aang that, like, because they finally reconcile. And so she explains to him how she can see everything that's connected to the earth. She can see him, she can see trees, she can see a boulder, she can see the ants like walking on a mound. She can see everything that's connected to the earth. They get ambushed and they get taken away. Why? Because back at the tournament, the boulder's all like, he doesn't believe she won fairly. He said he saw the whole thing. Nothing hit her and stuff. And he thinks she took a dive. So this pisses off the person who runs the thing, thinking they took his money. So he captures both of them. When the group and the king and like his servant dude like go there to like pay the ransom and everything, they let Toph go when they pay the ransom, but they won't let Aang go because they figured that the Fire Nation would pay more for their avatar. So Toph and her family starts to leave, but then Katara and Sokka's all like, you need to help us and everything. And this is when Toph reveals to her father who she is. And she takes all of them on in a dress, a little princess dress. This was the best choreograph bending I have ever seen, especially that of the earth bending. See, Toph fights differently than every other earthbender. Every earthbender fights in a very like forceful, stomping, punchy kind of way. She is different. She uses mantis kung fu in order to fight, in order to bend, which is very unique and everything. And they really took their time in choreographing something that was just fun to watch and just beautiful at the same time. And she takes on every person at that tournament all at once, and she just whoops on them. So when Aang finally gets free to like fight, they're like, nah, she got this covered. So then when they head back to the Beifong place, she's telling them that she must travel with the avatar and all this other stuff, and she's not helpless, and her dad just doesn't want to hear it. Her dad's just kind of like, you're a helpless little girl, and we need to keep a better eye on you and stuff. And he wants to banish like the avatar. So as soon as Aang and them is halfway past their palace, Toph comes up. And she's all like, my dad has changed his mind. I can travel with you and everything. But this turns out to be a lie, because she ran away. So her father hires the dude who's his teacher, the earthbending teacher dude, and the dude who runs the tournament. And he gives them tons of gold pieces and tell them, do whatever it takes, but you bring my daughter back. Now, we really don't get to see these guys for the most of the season because they just kind of disappear. But then they pop up every once in a while. I was so glad when they added Toph to this show. She's tough. She's fierce. She does learn a lot from them, because when she leaves and goes on her own in the next episode, she is a brat. And she's also a dirty little girl, and she doesn't want to like follow no rules and this and that, but she learns as she goes. And the Avatar people, the group, makes her a better person and a better bender at that, because she does learn a different technique that no other earthbender knows how to do. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.